know what? StreamYard is gonna piss me off today.
Yeah, you had a different intro for the previous.
No, I put your intro. Why did it do the wrong one? Why did it do that? That is crazy though. What is going on? Right. I put your whole intro up, okay? But just because it did that and it's tripping like that, we're not gonna let that slide, okay? We're gonna do it right. Hold on. I don't know. We don't do no.
Okay.
We don't do it. All right. Going backwards. All right, here we go. Was supposed to happen.
Thank you.
I don't know what that was, but okay, that was what was supposed to happen. Okay, now that's better. A better intro. BoKor. Okay, Elmira. Let's go into how do I say it? Is it Elmira or Elmira?
Elmira is fine, yes.
Oh, Elmira. You know what? And I want to welcome Scam Chan. I want to also welcome your audience to the Alchemizing Energy platform. Shouts out to Vakabin Cite. And whoever else, I think that's you in the chat. So anyone that comes from BoKor's chat, we want to welcome you to the Alchemizing Energy platform. We are going to be interviewing BoKor Elmira, and we're going to be talking about Haitian voodoo. Now, he did talk a little bit, in the last live that we did with well, he doesn't like to be called a shaman, but he practices. He's like a medicine man from Peru, and BoKor, came at the end to discuss the differences between voodoo medicine and the plant medicine that might exist in Peru and things like that. But the main thing was to bring us to where we are now. So, BoKor, welcome to the platform.
Yes, thank you.
All right. I want to give a little bit of background on who you are as a person. BoKor Elmira is widely regarded as the most recommended sorcerer in the United States. As a third-generation practitioner of Haitian voodoo, traditions passed down from the esteemed Elmira family, BoKor Elmira follows a strict and disciplined approach to their craft. Their unparalleled expertise and unwavering commitment to their spiritual schedule has earned them a reputation as a stern, no-nonsense practitioner who has always delivered results. With an extensive range of services that includes readings, magic, and spells, daily lessons, and a member chat, BoKor Elmira has helped countless individuals navigate the complex and often mysterious world of spirituality. Through their work, BoKor Elmira has demonstrated an unwavering dedication to the spiritual development of their clients, always striving to provide them with tools and knowledge they need to unlock their full potential. Welcome to the panel. Welcome.
Thank you for inviting me.
Thank you. And please, you guys that love BoKor, please, BoKor Elmira, please excuse me for that flaw in my intro, but I got it right though the second time. So
thank you.
All right, let's go. So BoKor, could you please I gave you an intro. Let's even let you really discuss how did you get into voodoo?
Well, like most who have family members that travel, you'll find a lot of people that is into the religion of voodoo kept away from it, right? So I came in a family that was heavy into it. My father's side, my mother's side, I would say from the time I was young until I was like 16, they kept me away from it, right? Okay, there'd be little mishaps where I would walk in on my grandmother with a bathtub full of leaves and that was that. So I was brought up in a church. My father was a preacher, but his brothers and my grandfather and my grandmother, they were raised in the religion of Voodoo, right? But my father, he chose to take the path of Christianity. So for me, from the time I was a youngster, a baby, until I was like 16, I was in the church. Now, in the midst of this, I had an experience that kind of, I would say that, well, that's after. There were certain things that sparked my curiosity, in the church, why are certain things the way they are? And what happened was I started doing my research and I started questioning a lot of things in the church. Now, that led to me going out to do my own personal research. And when I found certain things out, that kind of changed my perspective on the religion of Christianity, right? So I had an experience once, and I would say this was my calling, because after that experience, I was shooken up and I wanted to learn more about the religion. So what did I do? I went to my uncle's house and I started getting my lesson there. One of my uncle's brothers, he sat me down for a number of years and he was giving me lessons. So I would go there with my notebook and take my notes, and from there on, it was education, 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 education. From there, then I linked up with another uncle of mine's, and from there on, he started teaching me Voodoo as well, but more of the deeper practical aspect of it, From there, it led to me traveling to Haiti, and then basically learning about the tradition even more. But in between that time period, I had my miscellaneous experiences with different people of different practices. So that kind of gave me that universal understanding. And that's how I pretty much got into the religion of Voodoo. I can't hear you. I can't hear you.
Okay. I wanted to say this. I welcome you to the panel. I actually practice Lukumi, aka Santeria, Ifa.
Mhm.
And I'm a baby in the religion. So I'm beginning to learn, about other modalities as when it comes down into African spirituality. So I was really interested when I actually ran across your information, man. You're a plethora of information. I just did a live stream with a shaman not about an hour ago. And when it really came down to it, you was able to even just set me straight. Because what I've been doing is trying to connect everything. Because in my mind, I'm like, okay, all this stuff is connected in some kind of a way. Can't figure out what it is. I'm like, it's all connected. But you're saying, okay, but it's a connection, but there's a difference. So let's discuss the difference between these different modalities.
I would say Voodoo. Okay. I would say the part is that we can say there is a connection with Ifa is the fact that in Voodoo we have what you call nation, right? Nation is nations. So you find that in every nation in Africa, well, you can say, a good portion of the nations in Africa found their way in Haiti. You have some people that was from Senegal. You have some people that was from Congo. You have certain people that was from Nigeria. You have people from Benin. So Voodoo became a melting pot. The connection to Ifa is that some deities of Ifa made their way into Haiti, right? We have Ogu, which in Nigeria is Ogun. We have Shango. Shango is a spirit, may not be popular like Ogu in Haiti, but he made his way from Nigeria. So we have a connection to that in a sense, culturally, in the nationality aspect, right? So that's a small connection. But when it comes to serving spirits, offerings, sacrifice, we do that as well. When we talk about serving spirits, and I see that you mentioned leukemia, same practice. Basically, people, they serve spirits, and in a leukemia sense, Santeria, you find that they have a connection to Catholicism, and you find the same in Voodoo as well, right? We know the experience is pretty much similar. Africans were brought to the diaspora. Basically they couldn't practice how they did in Africa, so what they had to do was basically camouflage it through Catholicism, and that's how you pretty much had the Voodoo, which is similar to how Santeria occurred. The same experience of syncretism.
Well, you know what? This chat's on fire tonight. I mean, we have people asking questions. So can you ask him to please explain how other mystical practices like Wicca and Goetia integrate into this whole world of Santeria, voodoo, magic, etc.? Aren't all these spirits similar?
No, the spirits are not similar. But what I can say is that there's certain practices that were brought into the Caribbean, via, the Europeans. So you find some people, Rosicrucian tradition, some of them practice Kabbalah. These things have been brought to the island through foreigners whatsoever. And you find some people that have incorporated that into the mysticism of, Haiti, etc. Yeah.
So there was a documentary that came out by Tariq Nasheed a long time ago called, I think, 1804, where it discussed Haitian voodoo and how it came into, based on the African tribes that came there and how they were able to overcome slavery from that. Can you go into that? I mean, was that like a true depiction of what really happened, or were there like some things left out?
Of course, they talk about the ceremony of Wakaima, right? This was, a group of people that came together, made their, service to the spirits before war, and basically, how that, all know how that turned out. Basically they unleashed, a kind of, they definitely did what they did whatsoever, and that is true.
So there's talk of like light spirits and spirits of darkness. Now I know that what's her name? It's a rapper. Her name is Azalea Banks, and she practices Palo. Now, would you say that voodoo is closer to Apollo than it is to Ifa, whereas you're dealing with spirits of chaos versus spirits of light? Or like you say you have like spirits, so light is like would be like, okay, you would, instead of like, okay, so say you're going to get into a car accident, right? The spirits of light will deal with the person so that they don't experience the car crash. The spirits of chaos would deal with the car crash, and then the person wouldn't. So it's like almost a different way of actually doing the so-called magic that happens in the religion. Instead of you dealing with it directly from the person aspect, you would deal with the actual catastrophe that's going to happen. Would you say that that's how, what the difference is?
I would say yes. There is spirits that are there are spirits that are here to uplift, and there are spirits that are here to put down, right? And and it all depends on, well, I would just say that is true. There's people that, let's say, there's spirits that are here to help, and there's spirits that are here to be a detriment to wrongdoers.
So when it really comes down to it, because when we are speaking to the shaman, his aspect is probably dealing with spiritual light through the plant medicine of ayahuasca, right? And you were
Yes.
saying something to the point of that, that's fine and all, but if because he actually made a statement that said, you know what, if you feel like someone is putting something on you, then that comes true, right? But if you don't feel like that, then it's not true. What would you say to that?
I would say partially because, well, I would say it's a little. I'd say not little. I would say it's a big difference. But I understand what he was saying, because the thing about it, in Latin America, we have a terminology which is maldition. In Spanish, is maldición, right? And this is, how can I say this? This would be like you're cursing yourself. You're jinxing yourself. When you're thinking certain things, you can bring things into existence. But for us, when we say in Latin America, the maldición or maldition, it's like you're saying things. It's not necessarily mental, but sometimes we want to watch the things we say, because the things we say can take form. And that's how we see it. Thinking, not necessarily, but we usually say, it's usually with the words you say, right? But thinking can be looked at as a form of maldición as well, or maldition as well, because it's still energy that is basically bringing things into existence, right? Evil eye, when we talk about, mal ojo, right? Or, we don't have that term in Creole, but, when you're evil eyeing someone, it's like it's charged by feelings and emotions, intent, right? Your intentions. So you're in that aspect. That's not totality of sorcery. That is one part of it. There's greater things that lie beyond that. But yes, he was right in a sense in that category.
So what is the difference, right, between religion and sorcery? Because I can pray and speak good things and say, well, God, bring me certain things, or God, I pray to God. Is there a difference between me praying to God versus me praying to a certain other thing within voodoo that might say, okay, I want to bring about a certain thing? What's the difference between, is voodoo a religion, first of all? Number two, is it sorcery? Number three, what's the difference between the prayers that you send up to Jesus versus the prayers that you would send to a deity within voodoo?
I would say it's different energies, right? I don't look down upon a Christian or a person praying to Jesus, because that is a deity in itself. When we start talking about names, I mean, names are very powerful. And if you want to go back into ancient Egypt, you'll hear about the thing of Hekua, or words of power. When you talk about different deities, it's like, yes, they exist. Any type of word, I say words have energy, and if you go into the study of numerology, you'll know that, so whether it's God, whether it's Bon Dieu, whether it's Olodumare, it's like you're tapping into something, but you want to make sure what you ask for is within that stream of energy.
So what is the difference between religion versus sorcery within Haiti in voodoo?
Now, religion is ritualistic, right? Ritualistic is like, okay, we do things redundant at times, and we do things over and over, right? It becomes a custom, right? Now, there's a lot of people that are into customs and rituals that don't understand exactly what they're doing or the purpose of what they're doing. Now, you find in the sorcery aspect, a person takes what people do unknowingly, ritualistically in religion, and put it to practical use. Now, a person in sorcery knows exactly what the rituals mean. They know what the rituals are capable of. Someone practicing religion, usually they're doing what they have been told or shown. So sorcery is putting to practice what someone learns ritualistically for their own agenda and purpose.
So would you say that all of these African practices are using sorcery?
I wouldn't say they're using sorcery. A prayer You can use a prayer to praise. You can use a prayer to uplift, but you can also use a prayer for the opposite. You can use a prayer to bring destruction and woe to someone, right? There are certain scriptures, even in the Bible, that people have used to bring condemnation to people they don't like. So it's almost as though you don't have to have, it's like this. It ultimately depends on what you're utilizing it for, you know? As far as the religion and sorcery, sorcery has a very negative connotation. The connotation is, well, you're doing certain things to harm people. And religion is doing things ritualistically to help, right? But that's kind of where the difference lies in these terms. One is there, at times can be done without knowledge, but because of what they've been told is capable of, people blindly do it. And on the end of sorcery, people know exactly what they desire to happen or occur. They intentionally do things, right? So it's almost like this.
It's a matter of intent, right?
Your intention, yes, but not intention as in the sense that your intentions is the everything, or this is the main recipe for what you want to happen. Intention and action, right? Intention is, I want this to happen. Action is what I'm going to do with the knowledge that I have to make that happen.
So, for instance, if I say, God bring death to all my enemies, which would be something that actually happens in the Bible, where it says that I will bring death to your enemies, or that there's a thing in there, like to all your enemies, blah, blah, blah. Now, if you do that and then you light a candle, now that's sorcery. Is that what you're saying?
Yes. Because you're manipulating energy to create a change that you desire.
So we have a person that's in the chat that is actually atheist, right? So Scam Chan is an atheist, and he believes that all that stuff doesn't really exist. Magic doesn't exist. What would you say to the average atheist?
He needs to, well, the average atheist, what would I say? Well, if Haiti wasn't in the situation it is in presently, I would say they would make that person into a believer.
How would they do that?
Well, let's just say this. In my country, we have a thing where we say, marche sous 13 pour pas piler 14. Walk on 13 so you don't step on 14. Which means when you fuck around, you'll eventually find out. So that's basically what it is. If you don't believe, and let's just say you want to be a troublemaker, then you're going to find out. If you are in that type of area, see, again, there's different ways. They say in English, there's many ways to skin a dog and many ways to do a cat. So I would say, if you're over there or you're in a community where people are into the nonsense, then you'll find out, or you'll find what you're looking for.
Wow. So what is the difference between voodoo that's in Louisiana versus the voodoo that is in Haiti versus the voodoo that's in Ghana?
Now, I would say this is definitely different in Ghana, because Ghana is a whole nother practice whatsoever. I'm not even familiar with Ghana. But now in Louisiana, I would say historically that you can trace the Haitian roots back to Haiti via the Haitian Revolution, because they say that a lot of plantation workers brought, a lot of their Africans, or quote unquote slaves, with them to America because of the things that were happening down there, right? So a lot of the traditions a lot of things or knowledge that was in Haiti was brought over to Louisiana, New Orleans.
Okay. So a lot of people would say, well, if Haitian tradition was so strong, why are they in the position that they're in right now?
I mean, just look at the politicians. I mean, listen, it's a dog eat dog world. I mean, in Haiti, it's what's chien mange chien, right? Dog eat dog. You have everyone striving to be rich. Everyone wants power. I mean, listen, this Haiti is, let me just say this. Haiti has been on a path of self-destruction for decades, right? And, there's a lot of people that don't like this, but that's the truth. If we look at what we did to Jean-Jacques Dessalines, you mentioned what they call him, the 1804 documentary. We talk highly about Jean-Jacques Dessalines, but what did Haitians do to Jean-Jacques Dessalines, the man who gave Haiti its freedom? They chopped him up into pieces in the marketplace, right? So you look at it. What happened to Jovenel Moïse, the recent president? They assassinated him. I mean, I would say this: if you've seen the pictures of what they did to the president, you would be like, oh my God, you would not be able to sleep for a couple of days because it was that horrific. So when we say if Voodoo is so powerful, I'm gonna say this: Haiti's Voodoo has turned in on itself. People have used it for their own riches and own personal benefit. I mean, look at it. Look at the gangs today. I mean, there's guys getting shot and the bullets are not penetrating their body. And what do? Because of that, they resort to machetes and gasoline. So they're setting people on fire. So at the end of the day, witchcraft and sorcery is powerful in Haiti. Religion, I would say it has taken a back step. If anything, the religion of Voodoo has, let's just say, a lot of the practitioners, a lot of the priestess and priests, let's just say they have sold the religion for their own personal benefit. Where are these gang members getting their power from? A guy gets shot 4 to 5 times and he's still walking. You don't even see any blood coming out of his body. Where does he get the rag that he has wrapped around his arm or the magical rings? He's getting it from voodoo priest and priestess. So at the end of the day, Haiti is on a path of self-destruction, right? Well, let me not say everyone, but a lot of people that are into the practice don't care. It's like a Haitian Fidel Pharisien said, right? My brother Fidel Pharisien. Well, he doesn't speak English, but for those of you who are Haitian, you've probably heard of him, right? He said that Voodoo has become something to enrich one's life. The average Mombo today is worrying about her Brazilian hair. You know what I'm saying? That Wugan today is worried about, he's like, his care is for the amount of cars that he has. He wants 4 to 5 cars. He wants 3 to 4 houses in Dominican Republic, right? So that's where Voodoo is at today. You have people that are enriching themselves, and there's nothing wrong with having great things and nice things. There's nothing wrong with that. But where it's at today is on the path of self-destruction. Hello?
I'm sorry. Chad is asking, do you know a priestess Miriam from a Voodoo temple in Louisiana? And
No, I'm sorry. Go ahead.
And also working with different light workers.
I don't work with none of them, and I'm not familiar with her. See, one thing I would say about this, a BoKor mange pour compte, right? Let me explain what that means. A BoKor eats by himself. Rarely do you ever see a BoKor or a quote unquote, I don't like to use this term, but I would say this, a malfecteur, right? Let's just say a person that doesn't do nice things. You rarely ever see them sitting in the midst of voodoo priest or priestess.
What is a BoKor though? What is the difference between a BoKor?
Let's just say Mambo and is someone. Sorry, go ahead.
So yeah, BoKor, Mambo, and what's the other one? Hogan. What's the difference?
Well, A Wuga is a voodoo priest, right? And that person is associated with light and doing good things, helping. At least that's what he should be doing. A Mumbo, the same. Now, a BoKor is someone who does all the dirty work.
And when you say dirty work, what does that mean? Dirty work.
What does that mean? I would say extracurricular activities. Extracurricular activities. Let's just say let's just say this, right? I would just say this. There's you know what? Okay, let me do it like this. Sometimes you may have an individual, right? Let's just say you have a person assaulting 1-year-old children. You have someone that's known for beating women, or someone, that's been accused of heinous things like rape. What happens at times is that certain people may take complaint to people that are into the extracurricular activities, right? And let's just say, or this person may have been into a whole lot of things. Now what happens? You see this person begins to fall into a lot of problems. You may see that person, you look at them, you just see the changes happening with them. Sometimes they even fly to distant countries to get help. You know what I'm saying? I'm just saying, sometimes what eventually happens at times is that their body begins to break down. Sometimes people may even accuse that person of looking like they have AIDS or something. But listen, in reality, that's just one example, right? But the thing is, you find people that are doing evil, right? And they're hurting people. And then sometimes people go to a BoKor to fix that problem. And you may find that person is no more. Again, there's many ways to address the situation.
Right. So, what about like Ogun? Would you say a BoKor would be similar to a Ogun in this community, where like almost like the police, the community where, hey, you like justice of situations?
Yes, they would say that that can be looked at as like that, but most of the people who are associated with BoKor are associated with Bawon Samzi, the god of the dead.
Right. So it's like sounds like similar to Palo practitioner. So you have like Santeria, then you have Palo, which is
something
like
similar, but not quite. But yes, we both are on the side of working with Zombie Muerto, the dead. We both on that side, yes. But yeah, that's pretty much it. But there's definitely differences.
Okay. So would a BoKor also be able to work with spirits of light, or is it just like once you get into that, you can't go into
of course, but of course they can, but a lot of them are associated with more of the left side of voodoo. See, when I was coming up, they broke things down to me like this, right? There is the cool side, which is Rada, and there's the hot side, which is called Petwo, right? Now, this is what they call rites, Rit, right? Of course, there's different other rites, but when I was coming up, this was what was explained to me. That's the hot side and the cool side, right? Rada, Petwo. Petwo is where you find a lot of aggressive spirits, and a BoKor is usually associated with that side. And those of you who who know of Max Beauvoir, may he rest in peace. You know that he basically mentioned that himself.
Right. So when you deal with these hot spirits, so you're really dealing with the dead. Because what I've understood is that when a human being like passes on, right? There's a certain amount of time before they actually go to the light, right? Would you say that you're dealing with the spirits that are on Earth that have not gone to the light, or would you say that you're dealing with even deeper spirits than that?
Okay, here we go. There's different categories of spirits, right? There's the Loa, right? And the Loa can be either on the left side or the right side. And then you have the Zanset, the ancestors. And the ancestors can fall into, let's just say, well, they could fall into zombie category, and they could just fall into just Zanset, right? Their ancestors. So you have the Loa, which are the deities, pretty much like Orishas. They could be good or bad. Then you have the Zanset, which is the ancestors. And the ancestors can be broken down to ancestor or a zombie. A zombie, I know there's a contradiction in that because most people think of zombie as a human being that has been risen from the dead, yes, but its root is the souls of the dead, which comes from the Congo word in Zambia.
So speaking of zombies, I've heard that there were certain herbs that could take an actual human being, that's alive, and they bury that person, and then they come up out the ground after a certain amount of time, and then they're considered zombies. So is that the same thing, or is that like a different thing?
I would say this. There's two types of zombie, right? When people speak of zombie, there's two types they speak of, right? Zombifié, right? You can say turn them into a zombie, right? But zombifié is zombified, right? And then there is zombie, which is when a person is talking about the spirit of the dead, right? Now, when we're talking about the person who has been poisoned, we call it tudzi. You're not necessarily dead. Yes, your senses may appear to be inactive. That makes you appear as if you're dead, but you're still alive, right? See, the difference between Haiti and America and why this is so common in Haitian culture is that people can get buried within the same day or days after, right? Because of the situation, there is no medical like hospitals like that for poor people. So usually, you die, okay, they'll put your body, they'll take care of you because of decomposition. They don't want that to happen. So they bury you right away, right? So now you find malfecta, or basically evildoers that choose to manipulate this to their advantage. So let's just say you stole someone's land, or you are a problem. Someone may hire someone to do something to that individual, but they don't want that person dead. They want that person alive. So when they bring that person up, okay, we kidnap you. It's a form of kidnapping. You're taking someone to a specific location and having your way with them when they come back to life or they wake up from their slumber.
Wow. Okay, and that exists right now.
Yes.
That is creepy. Oh my God.
I'll tell you, Haiti is a place that is unbelievable. When I speak, for me to speak to like people in America, the stuff that goes on in Haiti, you will not believe it. You would not believe it at all, period. So I don't blame anyone for not believing it. It's a reality that exists over there. It is an unbelievable place.
So here's another question: is that you have people that are like getting initiated in America into Haitian voodoo, and I've heard people come up missing. What would you say is going on in that situation?
Well, I'm gonna say this. Listen, you gotta definitely know who you're dealing with. Because listen, there's a reason why, for me, I don't attend no voodoo ceremonies. Because I know how people can be. Yes, I'm a voodooism. What I got from the elders, I keep to myself. I don't try to mingle and go to voodoo ceremonies because I know people are very messed up. There's no friends in this thing called voodoo or spirituality for us. See, I mean, maybe in Wicca, maybe in, Ifa, it's safer. But voodoo is not a place where you want to be friendly with people. I don't care how much, how many years they got, if they're Asogwe or the highest initiate, people have ill intentions. And, some people, listen, the thing of body parts, the thing of sacrifices, listen, there's people out here that will do that to better their position in life. I mean, if you go on my Facebook, there's videos I've shown that people have human bodies buried under their voodoo temple.
So I heard of a story about a person that's out here right now that said they're a voodoo priest. They're pretty well known. I'm not going to mention their name. You know what I'm saying? But they said they were a voodoo priest. Her name starts with a J, you know. And she said she was a voodoo priest. And it came out that, she had a grandfather that actually did human sacrifice and got exiled out of the voodoo community. Is that what happens when a person does human sacrifice, or is it accepted?
I mean, listen, that all depends on where they're at. You know what I'm saying? In the voodoo community, I would say there is no morality in the voodoo community. I would say in the Haitian voodoo community. See, I would say this. Comparing what's going on in America and what's going on in Haiti is totally different. In America, you have rules and regulations, you have standards, and you have people trying to make it seem as though there is some type of structure in order. In Haiti, it doesn't work like that. There is no, oh, well, yeah, this person got how many bodies to his name, but you're still going to fuck with them. Yeah, overseas, that's how it is. See, in America, you have people like, you know what, I'm going to disassociate myself from those kind of people because I got Americans that are aiding me, they're funding me, and I don't want that stigma associated with me. So a lot of voodoo in America is very commercial. And I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but some people, they have foreign clientele, and some of these people have sponsors, and they don't want to lose that sponsor being associated with the extracurricular activities.
So to be honest, what it comes really down to is when you get into voodoo, is dealing with kind of a spirits that like kind of can get dark, and there's aspects that can be light, but really it's their darker spirits. But it really is about justice. But you have other people that can exploit that for their own personal gain.
Yes.
Now let's get into. Man, this is crazy. I didn't expect what you were saying. What in the world? So, a lot of children have become missing the last hurricane that happened. Is it okay to practice child sacrifice in Haiti?
I would say for myself, that is crazy. That is insane. But again, Haiti is a dog eat dog world. I mean, listen, for them, people are going to do whatever they want to do. I can't stop what they're doing, but I'm not going to deny the existence of such ordeals that occur. That's there. But am I to say, this is good or bad? I wouldn't personally do it. But there's people out there that will do it in a heartbeat and not care. I mean, if you look at my shorts, you can pretty much see about the baby. That tongue was cut out, the throat was slit, the fingers were chopped off, and the toes were chopped, and the feet was chopped off. I did a short about that, and I talked about that. I did a review about a case that happened in Haiti. Basically, it was a young girl who, let's just say, I guess they didn't like her. The family didn't like her. So, she went to Dominican Republic with her boyfriend, and when she came back, she found her baby's eyes bulged out, tongue cut out, both thumbs chopped off, and both toes chopped off. Now the police came. The lady claims, but then again, I don't want to get too much into that. But stuff like that happens. Just to talk on what we're speaking on, that happened.
So what about like the whole thing? They're killing the dogs, they're killing the cat, eat the cat, eat the cats. You know what I'm saying?
I don't know all about that part. As far as a Haitian doing that, I can't say that we are like that. I don't know, but you never know. You have some people that are, that I don't know if that's true or not.
Are cats and dogs a part of any ritual in Haiti? Like, are there any rituals in Haiti where dogs and cats are like sacred to do that, to make a certain?
I would say this: everything goes in Haiti. Everything goes. There's no restriction. Everything goes, and it all depends on who you're dealing with. Because there's some people. Not everybody's malicious and evil. There's certain people that are good. They have good hearts, and they don't want to participate in such actions. But then again, there's other people that don't care. Everything goes.
Let's talk about the spirits of Haiti. I've heard stories of like, can't go outside or you see a person and they're like, oh, I saw this person. And then it turned out that person wasn't there. But everybody knows that if you go outside a certain time, you're going to see a certain spirit. What is that?
See, if you have the gift of clairvoyance, maybe you'll see it, right? But maybe you will see it. But the thing is, when you see things, is usually within spirit. You have to be gifted to see that. There's certain things that I can't explain myself because I don't know everything. But I will definitely say there are certain things over there that is, yeah, not to be fucked with.
Wow. So, is it true that a person can become a zombie and be actually made into a slave to work someone's
And
property?
it goes back to what I said. It's a form of kidnapping, right? It's a form of kidnapping. And most of the people that come out of that state, they're not there mentally. They're moving as though a person who is high on heroin. So whatever manipulation that has to happen there, it happens there. But usually it's for the person's own agenda. They can have you there as a slave to, do whatever they want with you. Someone make you work the field, someone basically use you for whatever purpose they want to.
So when it really comes down to it, like, okay, we were talking about herbs, right? So you have the ayahuasca plant that's meant for, healing yourself mentally. What it seems like in Haiti is that people understand how to use these herbs in a baneful way. They very much mastered the land there and to understand what herbs to use to do certain things. Now, I wanted you to get into the herbs. I know you can't probably much go too deep into it, but what's the difference between like herbal medicine when it comes to healing versus the herbal medicine when it comes to harm?
Well, I'm gonna say this. When you're studying medicine fay, which is medicine of leaves, right? That's exactly what it means. There are plants that can be used for good, and there are plants that can be used for bad, right? The good can be for healing, it can be for skin abrasions, it can be for vomiting, it can even be for poisoning, to stop poisoning from happening. It's all about what you know of or how to utilize that for that purpose. Some plants that can be used for medicinal means can be used for lethal activity. So as far as the herbal stuff goes, yeah, a lot of people drink tea for healing. A lot of people drink teas or do teas and stuff like that for various purposes. But a lot of it, again, most of the time it's for healing, for betterment of one's, santé or health.
So when it comes down to being able to say be shot and not pierce, is that a herbal thing or is that like a spiritual thing?
That right there is, I would say this, that is a very mystical thing. Because yes, there is knowledge of plants. There is a knowledge of mysteries too. That is something that is beyond human comprehension.
So recently, okay, what isn't Mami Wata one of the things within Haiti that people like?
Mami Wata, that is not a spirit in voodoo, right? But the symbol I would say is that would be la sirene, or in Spanish la sirena, right? That is the mermaid spirit.
So recently, we've been seeing like a bunch of like reports about UFOs coming about the water. Do you think that this is really tied to that spirit? Like, really, is it really a spirit, or is it really like a ancient civilization that was here before time, and it's really like, how much of this stuff do we really like know is really spiritual, and how much is it really like a real thing that exists, like based on like ancient alien technology?
One thing I will say is this. I'm not outruling the existence of creatures that are from other galaxies because according to astronomy, there's hundreds and thousands of other universes that we may not even know of. But I would say this: when we're talking about spirit, we're talking about spirit. Now, anything that comes out of the water, that's in the domain of the sirens, or the spirits of the ocean or the sea, the spirits of water. But again, when you're talking about Loi, you're talking about an energetic being that is immaterial. It is not material. Because I know some people try to link extraterrestrials with spirits. Spirits are spirits, and extraterrestrials are physical. If they exist. I've never seen one. But when people speak of extraterrestrials, they're talking about something terrestrial. There's celestial and there's terrestrial. Terrestrial is like physical, right? In Voodoo, or just in general in spirituality, there's spirit and then there is matter. That's a totally different ball game.
Okay, so do you feel that? So you don't feel that this actual I don't know what to call it.
I don't believe that. I don't believe that that's a deity. If there is a being that came from the water, okay, cool. That's a being that came from the water. But everything in the universe is governed by different forces. So regardless if it is an extraterrestrial, it is always going to be under dominion of forces beyond them. Anything on this earth, whether it's plants, whether it's rocks, whether it's human beings, whether it's animals, everything has a rulership.
So okay, you say you are a BoKor and you deal with the darker spirits. How do you stop those spirits from attacking you?
I would definitely say, stay protected via prayer, whether you're burning or serving your ancestors or the Loi. Continue, because that is your best defense. That is your best defense. And sometimes the best protection is abstinence, staying away from what can be a potential problem. For me, I don't go to voodoo ceremonies, not at all. For me, I'm not going to put myself in a position where I'm going to allow something like that to happen. Who knows what you're going to put in my food? Who knows what you may put in my drink? So why put myself in that situation for something like that to happen to me? And not only that, you don't want to be messing with people. A lot of the times when people end up in these situations is the fact that they're bothering people. Most of the time, people end up in the situation they're in because they're messing with people. If they would leave people alone, they wouldn't find themselves in situations that they're in. So, marche sous 13 pour pas piler 14. Walk on 13 so you don't step on 14.
Ashe. So NN says, does it disappoint you not being able to have a community to keep yourself safe? Do you feel lonely?
I've been living this way for a long time, so I'm accustomed and used to it. Yeah, I'm accustomed and used to it. Yeah.
How do you what I would say is, how do you know if someone have put some baneful magic on you? What are the signs and symptoms?
Well, listen, the signs and symptoms. Now, here goes. What is this? I'm a doer of the word, right? I'm going to leave it like that. I'm a doer of the word and not a hearer of the word. So I can only speak as the person. Well, I'm not going to go too much into that. But as I said, I'm a doer of the word and not a hearer of the word. So I'm going to speak as a doer of the word and not as a person who is a hearer of the word. Okay? So listen, when we're talking about what a person experiences, what I've seen with my two eyes, listen, you may see headaches, migraine headaches. Of course, there is medical reasons for that. But when you have an artificial headache, it can be just as a regular headache, but it has a spiritual source, right? Migraine headaches, that's one. I mean, weight loss is another. Like I said earlier on, I gave an example. Sometimes people can look healthy, and as time goes on, a year goes by, 2 years go by, you start seeing that person begins to lose a lot of weight. It's like the movie Thinner, the Stephen King movie Thinner. That happens. Someone can place a zombie on you, a muerto on you, and it sits on you. And as time goes on, you start to look different. I know one person recently that was talking about, they think somebody at their job has a spell on them or a curse because, I mean, listen, they went from a normal looking person to their whole face swelling up. I remember this guy on the internet. I think his name was E.A. Coed, white guy and everything. He was a very popular YouTuber. You know what I'm saying? I mean, listen, this guy got up online and apologized to the Haitian voodoo community. I don't know why he apologized though, but he got up on the online. It's like he was making fun of somebody online. I'm just gonna give you a story. This guy was making fun of some Haitian person. I don't know who that person is like that, but he was making fun of some Haitian person, and that Haitian person warned him, right? That Haitian person was telling him, like, chill out, be easy. And then what you start seeing, like 2 or 3 months down the line, the white man's face starts swelling up, right? And what happened after a while, his face started looking oily. This person started looking out of character. And then, totally different. This guy was slurring his speech and the whole nine. Then one day he gets up online and says, he made a video talking about why I look like shit, right? And then out of nowhere, this guy gets up online and apologizes to the Haitian community. And he says he's never practicing Haitian voodoo again. You know what I'm saying? Stuff like that happens. But yeah, I mean, that's the sign. You can look at that as a sign of what can happen. Then you have another instance where basically some people get into accidents, right? It can be accidents, you're driving your car or whatever, accidents like that happens. Sometimes you can get hurt at the job. That's one thing. Health illnesses, sometimes your body, certain organs start having problems. Your heart, you can have heart problems. You can have like intestinal problems. You never know how this thing is going to hit you. So there's a lot of ways that this thing of black magic can hit you. I even heard of a case where a female got crazy one time. I guess she had black magic on her, and she took a gun and shot the guy in the head. The guy lived though. You know what I'm saying? But I mean, it's just crazy stuff like that. They say that she had black magic on her, some type of breakup spell.
So Jaguar, right? She said she was a voodoo priest, right? Now, there's a lady named the Governess who said that she put she made a cow tongue and put something, I don't know, said some things into the cow tongue and buried it or whatever. And that made her spiral into insanity.
I mean, listen, things like that from my experience and what I've known, things like that is possible. I mean, I would say if we're speaking from a magical standpoint, some people are going to say, where's the evidence? I'm just saying, I mean, you can believe it doesn't exist and, everybody's entitled to what they want to believe. But I mean, from my experience and my culture, many people would say that stuff is possible.
So not to be saying that like a cow tongue, like I would say, would you say that that's a normal thing, like a cow's tongue, or is that like some other practice?
I would definitely say everybody's, if you're from Latin America, you definitely know that that's a heavy thing that's done in Latin American countries. You know what I'm saying? So I can't outrule that. That's practice all around Latin America.
It's called la lingua, right? The lingua.
Right. You can say that.
Interesting. So, someone says, why do you think some people are able to use voodoo to get ahead in life, while others also practice voodoo and they seem to always be struggling or not benefit in the same way from it?
Okay, I'll say this: there's people that practice not to become greater in life. Some people just practice because they want to practice, right? And then there are some people that don't know what they're doing. Or they can be people that have gotten a fake initiation, whatever, and basically, if not a fake initiation, the person who initiated them brought them into the tradition, and They didn't know what they're doing. Now that person's life starts falling apart, right? Your initiation can be bad, and that can affect your life and your well-being, right? Again, and there are some people that know what they're doing and they make a living off of what they know, you know? So then there's some people that just use it to better their chances in life. They have the right type of formation. You're formé bien. They've been formed correctly. So now they have that connaissance, the knowledge of how to make things work for themselves. And that's why when they go into business, they're successful at it, because now they're doing their rituals, they're serving correctly, and now their money coming in, their business is thriving.
But one thing I can see even from you is that you don't look like, you know, I've heard stories about, you know, people that practice like, you know, darker things and they start to look like deteriorated, look jacked up. What is the difference between a person that ends up looking all messed up because of what the work that they're doing versus how you're doing the work, but it might be not affecting you?
I'm gonna say this. We have a saying in Haitian Creole, faut respecter principes, right? You have to respect the principles, right? See, a lot of people, they're just doing stuff, but they don't know what they're doing, right? You know, it's like this, man. A lot of people get into this thinking that I'm going to put this together, I'm going to put that together. It's a lot of things that's involved in that. You say you can't just get up in there, go to Botanica and purchase this oil here, that incense there, that candle there, and think you're going to do something. More than likely, that thing is going to backfire on you. So you got people that don't know what they're doing, and they're doing this stuff, and they're only bringing condemnation on themselves, right? Now, on the same token, you got to be wise, because like my grandfather said, that I was told from my elders, was that my grandfather said that certain things you do can take years from your life, right? And yeah, so with that said, there's some people that know how to manipulate that to their advantage. Let's just say, I'll say this. Some people may get someone that they don't care about. Go do this, knowing damn well that they're going to destroy themselves in the process of doing that. So in English, that would be considered a crash dummy. Sometimes you have people that are sent on crash dummy missions. Yeah, you're going to do what I need you to do, but in the same token, you're going to crash out. And you take that. And my life is striving. I mean, that's just how it is. When I tell you, I know this maybe it sounds dirty to you, but that's just how the world is in the world of Haitian culture and Haitian Voodoo. You have people out here that will send somebody else on a crash dummy mission. Go drop this here, knowing that that shit can affect the person who's doing it. They don't care as long as they get paid. You know what I'm saying? That's how it is. So you find someone doing evil, but they're not affected by it because their hands are not getting dirty, depending on what's being done.
You know, so there's been this main character in the thing, Scam Chan. He said, if this held any power, the world would be in chaos from all spells. What's your opinion on that?
I will just say this. As far as that's concerned, there's things that happened, and I'll leave it like that. There's things that has happened, right? Now, I'll leave it as that. There's definitely things that have happened. And I would definitely say it's not good. In the hands of the right, let me say right person. In the hands of the wrong person, things can get worse than it is. And you'll be surprised at how many people behind the scenes are doing this shit.
Wow. You know what I'm saying? So are BoKors chosen from birth?
I mean, listen, if some people believe in predestination, then I can look at it like that. I mean, I came from it. Most in according to my tradition, they'll say that you're chosen from birth. If you come from a Voodoo family, that's what's going to follow you. You know, I mean, for me, they try to keep it from me. I mean, but then here it goes. I found out what it was, and then I started getting in contact with people. And then when they saw that I was really good at what I was doing, that's when they opened up a little bit more to me, family wise. But again, everything was chosen before I was even born. I just would say that maybe it was my calling to do what I do, because when I was a kid, my grandfather called me Chef Bunzi, which means chief of bandits, chief of thugs, chief of gangsters, etc. And he saw that in me as a child. I had to be about 5 years old or so. That's what his name was for me, Chef Bunzi.
So lately, the whole world of like this esoteric world, when it comes down to things, has become more popular. You see more people getting the E5. You see more people practicing witchcraft. You see more people practicing all these older traditions. What is your take on that?
My take on that is get into it for the right reason, right? 1 second. And get into it for the right reason. Get into it for the right reason. You don't want to be a Brucito, right? A Brucito to me is this. Okay, well, a Brucito is, let's just say, let's just say this. You get yourself into difficulty. Now you want to run to a religion for protection, right? You're out here, you're claiming to be a big bad sorcerer, and now when shit gets on you, that's when you want to throw ilikis on. You want to say that you're into this, you're into that. Get into the religion for the right reason, right? You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you want to get into religions for the right reason. You want to get into it because that's your calling. One thing I see it today with the trend of these religious practices is that a lot of people are getting into it for ego's sake, right? And I would definitely say that I see that a lot in. I rather not say that about speak on other traditions, but in some traditions, I see that a lot of people get into them so they can say, I'm this priest or I'm this priestess, right? And they do all types of things, and I would say that's for the wrong reason. See, in my world, where I come from, if you're just talking air, someone's going to show you. You know what I'm saying? Someone's going to show you what this stuff is really about. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
So,
Mm-hmm.
what about sex magic? Does that exist?
I mean, sex magic, that's a very taboo topic. I mean, listen.
It's taboo? All
I would
this stuff
say,
you talk about Haitian stuff, that's gonna be the thing that's
that's
taboo.
a taboo topic because we're in America here, and I would keep it limited whatsoever. I would definitely say it's there, and it's always for. I would just say this: the end justifies the means to some people. You do for me, I do for you.
Do you think that you utilizing, fluids, is a bad thing,
I
good
look at,
thing?
like, from what I can say is this: it's never for the reasons that you think. I would say it's for whatever purpose the individuals have, or the objective. But it's always, in my world, is for a purpose. It's like we say boucante, right? It's like an exchange. You know what I'm saying? You want this to happen, and that right there. Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. Hello?
A scam here. I'm sorry. welcome to the chat, Scam Chan. He's been very active in, uh, you know, uh, in the chat room. So I wanted to like allow him and whoever else, to come up and ask you questions. We're at the like we're into the first hour Marcus interview. After that, we allow the audience to join. So if anyone else wants to join, I put the link into your chat on Facebook, also on YouTube. So anyone that's on Facebook and YouTube on BoKor Elmira's thing has the opportunity to join as well. So go ahead, Scam Chan. Did you?
But ask him a question now. Hello, hello.
Yes, I can hear you.
So the things you're talking about, are they just limited to Haiti, or all the things you're talking about can happen anywhere?
I would say the accessibility definitely can have an impact on some of the things I'm speaking about, because some of the things that are done are not necessarily magic. Some of those things are just knowing the knowledge of things that are lethal to the human health or human body. And if you're in a foreign country, you may have access to those things, where per se in America, you may not have access to those things.
Well, it's not
Not
about
just certain herbs and things like that. So okay, let me just give you an example, Scam Chan. In Colombia, they have a specific herb called burundanga, right? So you might think that sounds crazy. You can't make a person into a zombie. But in Colombia, there's an actual tree that grows up it's called the devil's breath, right? It is called burundanga. And if you give it to a person and you blow it in their face, they'll do anything that you say, including walk into a tomb. And this particular herb was used for the kings in the Aztecs, that when a king died, they would blow it into the face of all his wives and they would just walk into the tomb and die with the king. So this is not just all just hocus pocus. Some of this stuff is just real, actual, like practical things that just people knew how to do. You understand what I'm saying? So everything is not hocus pocus.
And it's like this. In slavery, when the slave masters, we have a guy named Macandal, Francois Macandal, right? He was burnt alive because of the rebellion he started in Haiti, right? Most people don't talk about Francois Macandal. But what did he do? He poisoned the water that the French were drinking. And he would lay certain things down in the bed of the slave masters' wives. And, basically they would start scratching their body until they ripped their flesh off. There's certain things, there are properties of certain plants, there's certain animals that can cause certain things. And the knowledge of this stuff can actually be dangerous in the hands of the wrong people. So this isn't necessarily magie. This is something we can look at as, let's just say, biological. Are you with me?
I don't have much to say about that. I'm just listening. I mean, I can't prove it or disprove it. I just think it's just odd to hear it being spoken about when, I'm looking around. I don't see any of that happening, but you say it's happening.
Let me ask you a question.
Yeah.
Is arsenic poison?
Yep.
There you go.
Yeah. Bottom line is that okay. So the bottom line is that and so sometimes you could be so atheistic that it goes beyond just common sense, because to think that everything is just so explainable certain things, if you don't know the science behind it, then you won't be able to explain it. But if these people know the science behind these herbs,
I mean,
then
even
they're
water,
going to be able to
even
make
water can
things
poison
happen
you.
that you can listen. They'll be able to make things happen that you, as a logical person, can explain, right? And that happens all the time, all over the place. You know what I'm saying? So
Well,
It's like they say with the Native Americans, right? They say that the Europeans gave the natives of where they, well, the natives, I think either that was in North America, but I definitely know that, well, they say that they gave them blankets with smallpox. Now, atheists, do you believe that?
blankets with smallpox. I've heard about that.
Right. Now, is smallpox, let's just say, contagious?
Yeah.
Right. So now, let's just say this. You have some cattle, you have their skin that has smallpox. Now, if someone places on a bed that you're sleeping in or put it on your clothes, do you think the chances of you getting, would you say that you can get smallpox like that?
Chances are good.
Right. So there we go.
I think that people, like, when they think about voodoo or voodoo, they just only go into the aspect of it. It is way more deeper than that. It's a combination of things.
There's a level that's spiritual and there's a level that's scientific.
Well, I'm all about the spiritual part. I don't see the spiritual stuff people are talking about.
Well,
you're talking about diseases.
You shall find.
You're talking about diseases and like they have a cure for smallpox. There's a cure for smallpox.
Because the thing about it is, you think of what you've been told about voodoo. You have a Hollywood perception of voodoo. Again, let's just say, yes, you have a Hollywood perception of voodoo, right? And it's not exactly that way. It's not. See, voodoo, again, we have to distinguish between religion and what we call malficte, the business of malficte. What does malficte mean? It means the business of evil doing. Now, the business of evil doing, that's some people have associated that with the religion of voodoo. That's why the title of this video is Haitian Voodoo, the Haitian Voodoo religion or sorcery, right? A lot of people they put into the category of sorcery are into the business of evil doing, right? And the business of evil doing isn't necessarily always magic in Haiti. And I specifically say that in Haiti because nobody in America is doing half of the stuff that's going on in Haiti. If you were, you would be arrested and buried under the jail.
And I would also say, like I said, when people think about, even in Africa, right? They'll see a person dancing dancing and stuff like that, and be like, "Oh, well, that's, But when you see but it's so there's the overtone of the magic of how did this person do that? But then there's the undertone of the mystery of they know how they did it, but you don't know how they did it. So
see, the thing about
okay.
Go ahead, I'm listening to you.
I was saying, and welcome Napa. So Napa is actually the reason why you're here, sir. So I wanted to give her shouts out because if it wasn't for her, I had no idea who you were. And shouts out to Napa. This has been the most awesome interview I've done, because in a long time. Because I'm like, man, I did not know as much as I'm finding out here. Go ahead, Napa.
Yeah, peace to you, Genesis, and peace to your guests. Yes, I actually am a longtime subscriber and watcher of. I don't know how to address you. Is it
this is Elmira or Leonard?
Elmira. Okay, yeah. And I'm glad that you got to sit down with her. She works fast. I just showed her your channel was it 2 hours ago?
Yes.
So I said to her, I don't know how I didn't it had to be spiritual that I didn't even think to tell her. She's been interviewing so many different interesting people, and she is a practitioner of Ifa, and I don't know a lot about it, but I do find a lot of your information really intriguing. And I just came up to, because she asked me to, and I want to support her. And also, I don't know about the other gentleman. I don't want to leave him out of the conversation. I'm sorry. If you don't mind introducing yourself to me, sir, in the hat with the glasses.
Well, you talking about me, Scam Chan? I'm just a regular person trying
Yeah,
to
it's Scam Chan. He's an
Oh.
atheist, and he's just questioning some of the things that we've talked about tonight. Because, you know, as an atheist, he's like, oh, I don't believe in magic. I don't believe in like a lot of this stuff. So we're trying to explain, like, you know, all magic is not all hocus pocus. Some of this stuff is just like science, and you know what I'm saying? It seems magical, but it's really like just a herb that is able to do a certain thing. You know what I'm saying? And the people just have the practical knowledge on how to use that herb to do that, and not necessarily kill the person. You know, they know how to give it just enough to like, okay, we'll put you in a certain boom and whatever. You know what I'm saying? But then there's also herbs that will do something else. You know, and that's all this really is. It's like, it's energy. Herbs, all this stuff is. And my thing is, I don't understand how, even as an atheist, you don't, well, maybe because string theory has not been proven yet all the way, but there is a such thing as string theory, and about vibration, and about like sound and vibration. So when a person is saying a certain thing and it goes into your mind and you begin to believe that thing, then that thing could come to fruition. Sometimes they could be putting that energy out there and you don't even know it. But the fact that they put that out there, that vibration of that energy can like affect you as well. So that's what we're talking about, is that everything is not always about like just what could be seen, you know. And a lot of times, you know, we get so deep into, well, it's either like fact or not. And it's like, well, there's a lot of things on this earth that are unseen. So it's not realistic to think that there's things that are unseen that can happen. And that's all he's been talking about here, is like the unseen hand of like, you know, things that are going on in this world, you know?
Okay. So with that all said, I want to, if I can just ask you a question, please, Elmira. It's Elmira?
Yes, Elmira.
Elmira, thank you. Okay. So I was going to ask you about how much of magic, or whatever you want to call it, how much of it is just the confidence and the faith that is actually I guess you could say, a vibration that you send out? How much of that is, like, what percentage of that is plays into the success of whatever work or intention that you're trying to do? How much of that is faith? And then I want to ask you another question. So if you could answer that, like, because I know one thing about you that I notice: you are always confident in every single thing that you do, every intention. So how much of that actually brings you to success in your work?
Well, I would say confidence is a small portion, because it's like this. Confidence is only because you've seen this happen over and over. It's redundant. So if someone says, I'm going to fuck you up, it's because they know what's going to happen to the person. You know, when you do a lot of, let's just say you participate in extracurricular activities long enough, you know what the outcome's going to be. So yes, you first do it, you don't have any confidence. You're like, okay, well, whatever, you know, this thing doesn't work, whatever. And all of a sudden you see this happens. Oh shit. Then you do it again. So you fuck around more, and now you find out more. Because now you're like, oh my God. So now the addiction happens. Now you're addicted to the witchcraft. So you're doing it more and more and more and more, and you're seeing the same response. That's where the confidence comes in. Because I know you're just playing. You're just talking. But I know what we're going to do to you, you're not going to be ready for that. So confidence is a small portion. That's like 5%. Now, what you mix up in your gumbo pot, that's where the power lies. Now, if you want to add a little salt with your petitions and prayers, that's up to you. But I'd say 5%.
Oh, wow.
The rest is the work.
Okay, and that signature laugh, it is amazing. I love that laugh because it, there was another, he was an actor though, a while ago. He was a Haitian actor, and he used to do that laugh that you do. And
it's a Haitian thing because it's a Haitian thing. You'll find a lot of practitioners. I mean, listen, I don't mean to say this. I don't mean to take us in a dark place, but a lot of us laugh at the suffering of our enemies. Mm-hmm. And it is something that's ingrained in us. I mean, listen, if you've been doing us wrong for so long, and now we get our justice that the courts can't give us, of course we're going to laugh. I'm just saying, it's just part of our culture. And I always say this, when we got out of slavery, we had enough time to practice the nonsense on each other to know how effective things are. And again, it is just in the culture. You'll find a lot of people that are into what I'm into. They may have a similar laugh. It's just part of our culture. We'll watch you burning in hell and laugh at you and not feel any remorse for it whatsoever.
Well, let me say this. I have on my dad's side, they're Haitian and Dominican. And I think I can relate to that because it's when it's not a laugh that it sounds dark, and well, dark is good in a lot of instances, but it sounds sinister, but there's still this indignation, like this justice that has just been served in there. So thank you for that. But I just want to ask you one more question, and I don't want to take the interview over. This is great. I do want to ask you, getting back to what Genesis was saying a little bit. I've been studying time and entropy and all this great stuff about quantum physics. And so what if everything, all the spirits that we name, gods and orishas and netters and everything else, what if that is actually the existence of us, in different realms, like different times? Talk to us about that.
I would say this: there is no limit to what you can learn. No limits to these mysteries. I mean, listen, I prefer to remain grounded. I choose not to excel or go any higher because it's a scary concept. When you start drifting into these higher realities, you may lose your mind. I mean, at least that's for me. Some people can go into higher levels of consciousness or higher levels of understanding, and they're fine. But the concept of oneness from earlier on is a scary concept to me. Listen, earlier on they had a shaman on. Earlier on they were speaking about the oneness. I don't want to experience true oneness because true oneness is a scary concept to me. No one else exists but you. I mean, listen, maybe for some people that's fine. But again, to get back to your question, there's no limit to how much you can learn. But with how much you can learn, you got to be willing to take it because some people can't take the truth. The truth will ultimately break some people.
Wow.
So for me, I prefer to live on earth and enjoy my life and not get too high.
Okay. One last thing, and then I'm just going to fall back.
Listen, I like these questions you're asking. You ain't going to fall back.
Okay, I don't want to. This is my friend up here. I don't want to take it over.
I've been asking questions for an hour now. Like, listen.
Oh wow, he's probably tired of it. Okay, but let me ask you. I'd like to.
No, listen, he said that he was down for the smoke, so we here to ask the question. So come on.
Okay, awesome. So the crucifix, because some people get confused. I don't. I get it. I know a little bit about what my friend Genesis is a practitioner of. She's priestess of Santeria. And then, of course, there's Voodoo, and it's all in the same island of Hispaniola, right? So tell me, what does a crucifix mean to you when you're wearing it, not really being a traditional Christian?
The reason why I have DUME tattooed on my fingers. What does that mean? If you're into hoodoo, if you're into, workings and you're working candles, then you know what DUM means. It means destruction unto my enemies. So Bawon, yes, in our cultural tradition, the cross for Bawon Samedi, or the god of the dead, is the cross, right? So usually people who serve Bawon, you know what they're about. So for me, that's just a symbol. If you know, you know. If you don't, you know. You don't, you don't. But what it represents is my profession, what I stand for, what I'm into. They say, see, you know what? I'll just leave it as that. Yes.
Now, listen, I was going to say this is that, Nepal, I was talking about how people are able to use the Bible and be able to cast spells through the Psalms and the Proverbs. Is there a thing that's connected even to voodoo with the Bible and casting those spells? Because I've seen people in Louisiana that are voodoo practitioners go into the Bible and then take out what's the damn the Psalms and Proverbs, because those are like, they say it's a book of spells. So what would you say about that?
Well, I know, that's a little far-fetched with the book of spells, but some people, in a voodoo sense, people can use scriptures from the Bible for just moral lessons, right? That's one aspect, right? Now, there are some people that may use certain books of the Bible for chants to bring down the destruction of their enemies, because they're like prayers for some people. Just like you have some of these books in the botanicas, that have different prayers, recitations and stuff like that, saying oration, whatever, they're used for different purposes. So some people could take certain passages from the Bible and basically say those things to help or to bring condemnation to someone, that they may love or hate.
Do you ever study grimoire, like that type of, like, what about spell books, real spell books, like what is your take on that? Do you have anything specifically that you look into, or that you say, go read this or study?
No, because we have a saying in Haitian Voodoo, "Pas gen livre non Voodoo," which means there are no books in Voodoo. Basically, yeah, you can write your own notebook, but the thing about it is everything comes from your experience. Now, someone can give you a little game here and there and say, well, this can do this can do that. But ultimately, Voodoo is, let me say this. Let me say, in the business of magie, in magic, it's about experience. And we can say that even in the religion aspect of Voodoo, it's all about experience, but that's what they say, but a lot of people fall into the whole ritualistic aspect where it's redundant. But the thing about it is, there's no books in Voodoo. That's the saying that we say.
I knew you were going to say that. I'm just throwing these questions out for people to get what you teach. I want you to also, I don't know if you touched on this, you are a bit of a relationship advisor. I see you doing a lot of information on, not the typical like love counseling, but you give a lot of advice that is very unconventional. If you don't mind, I don't know if I'm putting you on the spot, but you had this short that I saw, and I'm trying to remember what it's about. It is titled "Give Her," what is it? "Give Her Fake Jewelry" or something like that.
Sometimes, listen. Okay, yeah, listen.
Yeah, let me hear from you.
I'm clowning around.
No. First off, listen. I love the shorts, and that's your personality. You're hilarious, but you're also very intimidating. But you are approachable. It's like a paradox. So don't think that I'm putting you on the spot in a bad way. I want people to see that other side of you.
Yes. Okay. Yes. Listen. Shorts, YouTube shorts. I would say that's where I just put a lot of nonsense. Sometimes I do nonsense. stuff that I really don't mean just to piss people off. Because hey, it helps the algorithm. It boosts up the fucking views. Now, if you want to believe that what I'm saying to you, then go ahead. But everyone knows me for the past couple of years. That's all nonsense and jokes. I may say, hey, well, don't buy her nothing for her birthday. Don't buy her nothing from her birthday. Basically, I mean, listen, some of the filth that I would put out back in the day, it's like, listen, I had to tone down because it's like, you get into a relationship. So now, you gotta be careful with the things you say because you're with someone and you don't want that stuff to reflect on that person, but I would definitely say there's some shorts that I would make just to basically shock value, but when it comes down to relationships on a serious note, it's really in regards to the magie, the love magic, because it's gearing a person to how you're supposed to react when you're doing this type of work, right? You don't want to be, like I usually say, if you're going to do a love spell on someone, you don't want to be arguing back and forth, showing up to where they live unexpectedly. You don't want to be calling them back and forth. So, when it comes to me being serious about love magic, we're talking about relationships, it's really geared towards the magie aspect, Yes. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, you're so I did kind of blend the question with the seriousness of your love magic advice. We
were kind of getting into sex magic. He said it was taboo, but I'm like, okay.
Well, the love spells, I don't know. I want to get that explained to me because I think that's way before the
love magic and sex magic. Is there?
Okay, well, I wanted to ask, could someone accidentally or inadvertently put a love spell on someone, or is it really that easy to put a love spell on someone? You know what I'm saying?
I'm gonna say this. It's never accidental.
Okay.
When someone goes to someone to do stuff like that, that's intentional. Nobody just accidentally put a person's picture in this type of substance here. Nobody. No, they whoever makes it, they have to take their time out to mix this stuff up. They may have who knows how much concoctions of different substances and items, right? So that's clearly not a mistake. So now that's something that some people do, and that's not accidental. That's intentional.
Wow. So so people can actually, if they wanted to learn this information, what would you warn people? Well, I know you already did a little bit right now. You made you said some things about don't become a stalker, but I do notice you do have some information where I don't know if it's like warning, but you tell people know what you're getting into, right? Can you explain what you mean by that when it comes to love spells?
Oh, know what you're getting into because there's certain rules and regulations, right? Now, for people that believe in the spirit or spiritual stuff, right? Now, there's certain beings that you may make a contract with. And that being's contract is you cannot step outside of the relationship or else you're going to get fucked up. Now, I tell people I've never done witchcraft a day in my life. But now listen, there's a story, here goes. I remember this. I got so many stories, so excuse me. I'm just trying to go in my mental library and pick out one. But I'll give you an example, something rated PG for the internet, right? I remember this lady. She had what they call a binding spell, right?
Mm-hmm.
And she was told you cannot entertain any other man except the person you're working on. So let's just say, okay, whatever. She went out to go meet the individual, and as soon as she opened her car door, a vehicle came out of nowhere and ripped the car door off the hinge. Now, she could have been hit. Now, there's another guy who has cattle, right? And let's just say he's in the same contract. Now, don't ask me how I know this, but he's in a contract similar to that. He was told not to mess around with any other women. And he did. Next morning, he wakes up. his one of his cows ended up dead.
Mm.
Right? So that's a little rated PG for you. And then on top of that, I'll get a little rated R for you. I remember this lady was trying. Now, again, don't ask me how I know these stories, but I'll just tell you, there was this lady. I'll give you two stories. There was this lady. Should I give you this one? I got two right now. I remember this lady, she paid someone to break two people up, right? Well, I'll give you three. I'll give you three for the price of one. She paid someone to separate these people. One of the people that were in that separation, well, let's just say the couple, it was a man and a woman. One day, the woman got mad. She picked up her gun and shot the guy in the head.
Ooh.
He lived. The woman went to jail or be prison. Now, there was another story. There was a lady in Atlanta, right? Let's just say someone paid to do a breakup spell on her and this guy. Let's just say some apparent reason the lady got agitated. She picked up a metal rod and hit the guy in the teeth or in the mouth and knocked all his teeth out, right? Then there was another lady. I remember she was she was dealing with this white man, and the white man was dealing with this black woman, right? And she wanted to separate them. The lady, in a year's time period, she caught cancer and she died. So this is what I say. When you start messing around with this stuff, you want to know what you're getting into, because the consequences can be great. You know what I'm saying? This is not no, dancing around chakra healing stuff. No.
Mm-hmm.
This shit can really be fucked up. Excuse my language. So you want to know before you do things, what are the outcomes? What are you doing? What are you getting yourself involved in? Because there's rules and regulations in this, and you got to respect the principles. Like we say, faut respecter principes.
You know what? I appreciate that about you, because there are other people on the internet, just teaching people how to do these things, and they don't tell them the severity or the seriousness of it and the consequence. It was a pleasure to finally get to sit and have a bit of, one-on-one, not really one-on-one, but conversate with you. I hope to talk to you again in the future. I'm actually on a panel co-hosting, but I saw Genesis is in here, and I was like, wow, like I said, I just told her about you this afternoon, and she worked very fast. I'm glad she did. I'm going to go back to the other panel, but thank you for answering my questions. And Genesis, thank you for letting me come in and ask these questions. It's a real pleasure once again, Elmira, and to the brother Scam Chan, you said your name is? Peace to you. All right, everybody, have a good build. I'm going to be
so listen, I have a, well, you know what, Scam Chan, do you have any more questions? Thank you so much,
All right, bye.
All right, peace. All right. Do you have any more questions? Do you have a question, Scam Chan?
Well, the only question I had, I wasn't really bothered by the plants and chemical aspect of it. I'm all about the spiritual part that I don't see evidence for.
Mm-hmm.
Is there a question though?
Well, yeah. I mean,
that's a direct question.
You're talking about energy this and spirit that and spiritual realm this and that, and all this is all connected. And okay,
let me tell you something. See, you are the perfect candidate for someone that's into that lifestyle. See, the thing about you is, listen, to not believe, who the fuck wants you to believe, man? You know what I'm saying? That is, listen, my thing is, you're the perfect candidate. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the day, listen, by you not believing, that's a good thing. You know what I'm saying? See, the thing is, I'm not here to convince anyone, because why would I want to convince someone that this stuff is real? Excuse me, not me. People that's into that type of working. Because everybody knows I'm a Christian. I've never done witchcraft a day in my life. But for people that are into that type of activity, you would be the perfect candidate. You know, you'd be the perfect candidate. You know what I'm saying? Listen, it's great that you don't believe, because this shit is fake. Listen, trust me. Listen, I'm keeping it real with you. Scam. This stuff is fake. It's not real. It's not. You know what I'm saying? It's not real. You know what I'm saying? It's not real. Listen, it's not real. See, I would just say, in my world, listen, you're better off not believing. It's fake, brother. It's fake. Yeah, man. Yeah.
Man, so I want to show you something really quick, and I want you to give your opinion about this. So hold on.
Mm-hmm.
Right. So what do you think about this? Right.
Now, okay. Now, that right there, they claim that it's Diddy, the tattoo that he has on his back. That would be, some people said Ezeli Dontor, some people said Ezeli Mapiyang. I mean, listen, it tells you everything right there. So what Diddy has been accused of, I mean, come on, that's like, hello, if you know what Ezeli Dontor is all about, and people who serve Ezeli Dontor, then, I mean, you know, what he's been accused of is not a no-brainer, right? I mean, listen, if you're talking about his sexual practices and sexual desires, I mean, hey, you know, I mean, listen, most men that are into voodoo that serve Ezeli Dontor exclusively are either gay or bisexual.
Really?
Yeah.
I thought that Ezeli Dontor was Oshun, and
no.
What is the difference between Ezeli Dontor and Oshun?
Ezeli Dontor is one of those spirits that fall into the Pitwell kingdom, right? That is a very powerful spirit that can be a good motherly spirit. She can be all the above. She can be your girlfriend. She can be your wife. She can be your mother. But just don't get on her bad side. She'll protect your children. She'll protect you. But don't cross her. Because all that protection that she gives you, she can take it back from you. Let's just say it's like checking in with certain gangs, right? The thing is, if you don't pay your dues, I mean, listen, they're going to say to you, well, we're not responsible for what happens to you, right? So you should be able to read between the lines there. That's how Ezeli Dontor functions. If you make an agreement with her, and let's just say you don't fulfill your side of the bargain, I mean, whatever you get is whatever you get. It's like she's not responsible for what happens to you. And you can read between the lines of what I'm saying to you. I'll give you an example. Years ago, there was this lady who got a connection to Dontor, right? So she had a contract with Ezeli Dontor, right? She had to do this for X amount of days, and she chose not to. So let's just say she went a couple of weeks, she was serving, and she got relaxed. Well, both her and her friend were in a very dangerous car accident. I think her friend broke her leg. Her head went through the windshield, and she was bleeding crazy. So, yeah, she just stopped her service. And, you know, again, Ezeli Dontor is not responsible for what happens to you, right? Mm-hmm.
So when you get into, okay, so now let's get into some weird stuff. So when you have a person like, because what it sounds like to me, they were mixing a bit of voodoo, because I think that Puffy is Haitian. Is he Haitian?
I have no idea.
I know there's like he was dealing with Haitian Jack, and I don't know why he would have.
Yes. That's what has been said.
There would be no reason why he would have a big old tattoo of that on his back unless he knew what he was doing. There's no way that you would do that, right? So he has to have some connection to the voodoo practice. But there's also a practice when it comes down to Aleister Crowley. And then that's why I was talking about sex magic, right? Now, Aleister Crowley and his people understood this thing about sex magic. And
Well,
how,
let me say something about sex magic. What I would say this: what you think of as sex magic is not what I think of when it comes to sex magic. Because when people are doing sex magic, well, what you call sex magic in my culture is never for anything of, oh, I'm having sex with you and I'm concentrating on this or reaching my highest level of spirituality. Fuck no. It's, bitch, you're gonna suck my dick and I'm gonna do what the fuck you asked me to do.
that's what sex magic is in your culture? Like, that's what it is?
I'm just saying, when you're in
Is
the
that
game,
what he been doing though? And
I'm
isn't
just
that
saying,
what Aleister Crowley was
listen,
doing?
if you're in the game of, let's just say, evil doing, I'm just saying you're gonna have some people that's like that operate like that. You know what I'm saying? It's like, you're gonna give me this. If you ain't got this type of money for me, then, you know, just like a typical drug dealer. You know what I'm saying? Then it's like that and shit get done. I'm just saying, if you want me to keep it real, Port-au-Prince real with you, that's how it is. So when you speak of sex magic, I can only think of it in that terms of how we, in my culture, how we know it as.
But
it's never
okay,
for
so you're
anything
thinking
that-
about that, what he was doing, right? What he's doing is throwing these parties, and he's bringing in kids and bringing in like prostitutes.
Now that aspect, that's probably, I don't know how deep that goes with him, but I know within my culture, when we talk about stuff, it's usually in exchange. It's never for any type of, I'm doing this for a spirit or anything like that. Not to say that it's not possible, but usually, you know, I mean, that's usually how people indulge into such practice.
So almost like they were like being swingers and just being freaky.
Ooh,
but okay, so what about a situation with Aleister Crowley where they would intentionally, like, are you aware of Aleister Crowley and his whole thing where they would be able to mix certain things together, like, you know, yeah. So do you know what they were doing?
That's like that's European occultism. Again, we seen what happened to E.A. Koetting. I mean, he's no longer here now. I mean, he's not around anymore, but I'm just saying, if his stuff was effective, I mean, he was at the top of the world. Yeah, he could. I mean, you know, I'm just saying this. So I say that to say, if it was that effective, I mean, you know, I mean, hey, I don't know, Europeans from different parts of Europe, before Haiti went to what it was in, you'd find Europeans from all over Europe going down to Haiti to get certain things done or to make certain contracts. So I don't know too much, like Aleister Crowley. I mean, I've heard of the things that he used to do, but again, that's not where I'm from. You know, I can't really even speak on his stuff, but again, maybe it worked for him, but you know, I don't know.
So what it was, so I'm gonna let you know what it was. So what they did was they would have certain practices they would do. They would mix certain fluids together, and then from those fluids mixing, it would create a demon. So imagine if you mix boo-boo along with some little bit of pee, a little bit of, like, you know, cum, and like a little bit of this, and then sometimes it might be some pain, blood, everything. That would create what they would call a demon that would come out. And then they could ask the demon for things. Are you aware about that?
Now, you know, I'm not aware of the mixing the stuff together, but I'm quite familiar with, you know, some of his rituals in regards to summoning demons. And, you know, when you're in the know, I would definitely say it's not the way people actually put it. You know, when you're talking about Aleister Crowley, you're talking about, you're going into Goetia. You're talking about summoning demons of the Goetia, right? What they call it, 72 demons or something like that. I mean, there's a book called The Lesser Keys of Solomon that has all the seals of the demons, right? Now, but if you're talking about him creating one, I wouldn't put it past him. I mean, people find spirits all the time, and I wouldn't say it's necessarily creating, because you're dealing with energies that have been here for eons of time. I mean, listen, does time even exist? I mean, you're talking about spirits that are eternal. So whether you're utilizing urine or whether you're utilizing whatever, you're only bringing something into existence which has already been there. Kind of like Christopher Columbus, they're saying that he discovered Norfolk, you know, he's discovered, you know, America, the Americas.
Right. So you know what? All right. So you know what? We're getting into the second hour, about to end pretty soon. So one last thing I wanted to ask is about the Hedron Collider. What do you think about that?
Huh? Can you repeat that, please?
The Hedron Collider, because they're saying that they're trying to find dark matter.
That's a little bit, that's a little bit beyond my scope of
I'm going to
information.
say this. So there is a machine in Switzerland that's made into a circle, and that circle is banging particles together. It's called a particle accelerator, right? And what they're doing is that it creates like mini black holes. And then they're saying that there are creatures and kind of like entities that are coming up out of this thing. And then it is creating like some kind of effect, whatever, like they say the Mandela effect. So do you believe that because okay, we practice magic, right? So this is the scientific application of this magic, right? That we practice, right? Okay, we're saying that, oh, okay, well, we can like say things can happen. What they're doing is they're actually practicing it in a real way and trying to create a black hole on Earth.
Let me just put
and trying to create the God particle, which is dark matter that created everything, and then trying to be able. I don't know what the hell, but it's crazy as hell. Whatever they're doing is wild.
Oh, okay. You want me to comment on that?
Yeah, because bottom line, this is like the physical. Because we have a person right here, Scam Chan, right, who is about practicality, right, about what's real. So you're talking about the esoteric, about how things can come into play. But I'm trying to show a practical thing where people are trying to do something using atoms, combining, smashing them together, and it's creating black holes, and the black hole will happen, and it'll go back down, and all kind of wild stuff going on. So
I'm gonna tell you one thing.
Yeah.
Well, I'll say this: if blanc, right? I'm not gonna say it in English. I'll just use the word blanc, right? You know what blanco means in Spanish, right? You know what blanco means in Spanish?
What? Black, white?
It means right. So there it goes. Blanc. So whenever we talk about specific people, right? We call them blanc, right? So blanc to us, he doesn't know nothing about spirituality, and he never will, right? You know what? Let me fix that. Let me take that back. I apologize, but I'll say this: in certain parts in Haiti, we're told you do not teach them. Now, for me, I would definitely say this: I don't get involved in that because I know there can be consequences for me opening up my mouth about certain things. And I don't need that type of energy, right? I don't need that type of heat. But I will definitely say there's a reason for that, because most of those people think that he doesn't know what he's doing. See, the thing about Blanc is that he's always trying to understand things logically and rationally, because some things are just, for him, if it's not on the books, if it's not concrete, then it's nonsense. So for us, I would say let him keep searching. That's all I would basically say about that. So whatever he's doing, maybe it's great works of science. Blanc has created a lot of great things on this earth. I can't take it away from him. But there's just certain things that he'll never understand. And the thing is, we're not here to encourage or say stop doing what you're doing. Hey, create a greater, better world. Do what you got to do. But when it comes to this, we always say, shh.
Do you see it though? What does it look like to you?
What does it look like to me? It's an image of a bunch of things. What? I'm not too sure.
Like a womb to me, like a womb, like a womb. Nevertheless, but that's what it is. That's the Hedron Collider. That's what they're doing to create dark matter. And if you know what dark matter is, you understand that is how creation starts. Creation starts with
Right.
darkness. So what they're
Right.
trying to do is figure out how things come into being and how things are created, right? On this
Well,
earth,
that
right?
I mean, you know, you got to give it to Blanc. You got to give it to him because, you know, he's a very inquisitive. Well, they are very inquisitive. You know, they definitely made a mark with doing a lot of things on this earth. You know, I got to give it to him. You know, give him his credit where it's due. But again, you know, keep searching, my brother.
So I'm gonna let Scam. So what we're gonna do is at 2 hours now. All right. So Scam Chan, I want you to either ask the last question, say the last thing, and then I want Haitian BoKor to give his wrap up. This is part one because I think we need a part two on this. Do you think so too?
I mean, I'm down.
Okay. So Scam Chan, what do you have to say?
Well, what I was talking about before was, I mean, all the talking points lead to the reality we all observe, be it by the plants and the chemicals, or you talking about the spiritual that's supposed to manifest things into reality. If I tell somebody there's a blue car outside, we can go all out there and look and see that blue car outside. So if you're telling me that you can do spells, magic, voodoo, whatever, that can change what we see in reality, then it should be easy to say, hey, I got proof that it works, you know, instead of laughing it off when it was just an honest question. It's just an honest question.
Right. I told you this shit is fake. It's not real. So at the end of the day, I would say this: as far as this is concerned, listen, I only speak to people that believe in fairy tales. You know what I'm saying? So if you believe in fairy tales, my message is for you. But then again, if you don't believe in fairy tales, then keep on believing that, you know, this stuff is what it is. Fairy tales. You know what I'm saying? So again, the thing about here, one thing about us in Voodoo, why the fuck do we want to convert you into our belief system? It's pointless. It's pointless. The thing is, we believe in fairy tales. We believe in nonsense. So there's no purpose for trying to convince someone to believe in this stuff. I mean, listen, that's it. I have no rebuttal. If someone says this stuff is fake, it's fake. And I will help you believe that it's fake. And again, don't take it offensively.
The only person that said it was fake was you. I never said anything about fake. I said.
But again, you're asking me to prove it. You're insinuating.
You're talking about it. So how hard is it to prove it?
Listen, you're asking to prove.
What about testimony? What about the people that have said that it worked for them?
Can I say something? You're asking me to prove something that is fake. Voodoo, witchcraft does not exist, my brother. What are you doing? You're telling me to prove something that doesn't even exist. Voodoo, witchcraft, whatever you want to call it, does not exist. It's fake. How can you prove something that doesn't exist, man?
I'm like, okay.
It doesn't exist. So the thing is, see, I only speak to people. Let's just say this. In my business, not my business, because everybody knows I work at Burger King's. You know what I'm saying? I've never done witchcraft a day in my life. You know what I'm saying? I'm a Christian. I go to church on Sunday, right? But I was speaking to those people who believe, it's like this. It's for those people that are into that stuff. I just share information. But now, again, I would just say to someone who's in the lifestyle, you would be the perfect candidate. Let me explain this because we're in the closing. The person that doesn't believe will think that everything is happening to them. Excuse me. We have a saying. Let me bring the saying up, right? In Creole, we say, "Couteau qui passe en bas de l'eau, pas jamais fait mal." What does that mean? Knives that pass underwater never make any marks. I think there was a saying on Google, right? There's a saying on Google. They say, we will cast a shadow over you that they say this is from a Haitian proverb, right? We will cast a shadow over you that you will not be able to distinguish from fate. So my goal not my goal. the goal and objective of someone that's doing evil, they don't want you to believe, brother. At the end of the day, because if I'm fucking your life up, you're going to think that it's natural occurrences of life. That person takes their $10,000 and go about their business. I mean, hey, customer satisfied. You think, oh, I'm going to the doctor. Oh, I'm going to the doctor. Oh my God, I gotta go do this. Oh my God, I go outside. This here, that happens here. At the end of the day, why the fuck would anyone want to make you believe anything? No, we need you dumb. We need you stupid. Because now you're going to think that everything that's happened to you is fucking natural. So there's no reason for me to prove anything to you, my brother. Keep believing it's fake.
I never said it was fake. You did.
I mean,
okay,
hey, brother,
but listen.
Well, let's just say there's no proof. There's no proof.
All right, I'll share. So thank you, Scam Chan, because we're wrapping things up. Thank you so much for coming up here. I appreciate
Thank you, man. Thank you for coming in.
Right. So listen, I think this was a great live. I don't know.
Yes, I do too. I thank you for inviting me.
Listen, it was so great. My glasses were like this. I was like, dude, I didn't even push him up. This was a great live, you guys. I have gotten so much information from this, and I really thank you for just taking time out for like that. You know, listen, I'll do it now. And man, you know, so much information that I never knew before. So, and I need like to get that. I'm gonna like learn how to. I'm gonna take that laugh. I'm gonna start doing that.
Okay.
But let me tell you something. I really appreciate the time that you spent with us. I really want to go deeper. We're going to bring you back. And you know, I just want what are your last things you want to say, other than if you don't believe
I would just basically say I'm grateful for being here tonight, and I'm grateful for sharing what information that I have. I definitely appreciate this. This is more than what I ever could have, you know, imagined that I would basically be here tonight. I'm very grateful for this.
And listen, so am I. So am I. You know, this was awesome. So I just want to thank everybody for joining the chat. Thank your chat that's been joining too, talking, giving their feedback. I wish I could say everybody's name. It's like 80 people that like was talking. I would be up here all day, like but thank everybody for being here, joining the panel. Please subscribe to Alchemizing Energy. Jackie, please put in the Alchemizing Energy. Please, you guys, because I'm doing like a labor of love. I'm not getting no money. Google is not paying. YouTube is not paying me for this. I get like $100, for this. I don't get no money, but I do it because I know that people need to hear the information. People need to hear different standpoints of things. They need to hear different like interpretations of things. So this is not about money for me. You know what I'm saying? It's really about, eventually it's going to be about money. One day, you know what I'm saying? I'm going to hit you up. Maybe you need to make a jar or something like that and to make my YouTube channel.
Remember, I never been.
Oh no, I'm sorry. You're a Christian.
Right.
I need to bring my channel back up. But right. Yeah, thank you guys. I appreciate everybody and shouts out. Love you guys and peace.
Alchemize your energy. Darling, let your spirit be free. Don't give up. Keep on pushing through. Now is the time. It's all up to you. Alchemize your energy. My friend, let your spirit be free. Don't give up, keep on pushing through. Now is the time, it's all up to you. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, but over tragedy. No matter the storm, we will always take flight. Keep on pushing through the darkness of night. the sky shine so bright, from darkness to light.